Hello and welcome to a Dirt 4 video. Now when it comes to Rallycross, there are a lot of cars that you can pick from. There is this Ford Focus RS that you're seeing blast around Loudon Hill, to the Mini Countryman. But that got me thinking, which of the Rallycross supercars that this game provides you is the quickest, and also which is the nicest to drive? So basically I'm giving you consumer advice. If you're just starting out in Rallycross, which car do you go for? So this is what happened. So the car that I've decided to start off with is the Ford Focus RS that you just saw. Now I did make a rule that on the first lap we have to take the Joker lap. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it was a fair rule that I made up, that on the first lap, as you just saw, we have to take the Joker lap. Each car is going to get 6 laps, and I'm going to find out 1, which is the quickest, and 2, which one drives the best. Now this Ford Focus RS is actually the car that I started off with doing Rallycross, because it's Chem Block, and you know, I'm familiar with Chem Block. But, I mean, the Focus, it drives okay. I wouldn't say it drives the best. It kind of slides, as you saw a little bit there. It's okay under braking, I guess. But, I mean, overall, it's okay. It's fairly easy to control, but it's not the best Rallycross car I've ever driven. After we had completed the 6 laps in the Ford Focus, the best lap that we managed to do was a 40.64 seconds, so that is the benchmark. So the next car I drove was the Peugeot 208 WRX, sorry. And as you're about to see, under braking it is pretty okay. I actually preferred this. After the first lap, I actually just instantly preferred the way this drove to the Ford. But yeah, it's really planted. It doesn't wobble around as much as the Ford. The Ford kind of slides around, as you saw. Sure, this does slide around quite a bit, quite a bit, but that's really depending on your driving style. My driving style is quite, rough, I would say, and aggressive. But yeah, I instantly preferred the way that this drove and handled to the Ford. So yeah. So after the 6 laps, the Peugeot's best lap was a 40.07 seconds. So that is that's just pretty much half a second quicker than the Ford Focus RS. So let's move on to the next car. So the next car I took around was the Citroen DS3 Rallycross thing, obviously. I wasn't just going to take the normal DS3 around, but as you saw exiting that corner, it's quite wobbly. It's really, I don't know, there's something about the suspension. It must be set up differently than the Focus and the Peugeot. It really, I didn't like the way this handled. I mean, it might be quicker, like the way the suspension is set up and everything. But it was really hard to control, quite hard to drive. So if you're just starting out in Rallycross, then I wouldn't really recommend driving this thing. So yeah. So the best time that the Citroen achieved was a 39.99 seconds. So that is just a few milliseconds quicker than the Peugeot. But as I said, it just drives not that great. So let's move on to the next car. So the next car I took round was the Volkswagen Polo Rallycross. Now, as we're just going into the Joker lap now. Now I noticed with this is incredibly good. In my opinion, it's better to drive than the Peugeot. And so far this is my favourite one. It's just extremely planted. It doesn't wobble around like the Citroen. It has a lot of grip as well, and it kind of suits my driving style. It doesn't like to slide that much, which is good if you want fast lap times and to do well in races. So yeah, as you can see, not very much sliding out of that hairpin there. Most cars have been sliding out of there, but the Polo, no real dramas out of there. So after doing the 6 laps in the Volkswagen's time was a 40.2 seconds. So as I'm noticing, all the Rallycross cars are actually keeping within kind of the same second, so that their times are all very close, really. So the next car to go around was the Ford Fiesta Rallycross. Now I noticed that this handles kind of the same way as the Citroen. It must be kind of based off of the same, I really don't know, kind of the same chassis, I guess. It doesn't wobble around as much, but yeah, I don't really like this handling style. Well, I don't really like this handling style. Whilst the Citroen is currently leading the leaderboard at the moment, it's just I don't really like the handling style of this or the Citroen. It just kind of wobbles around and it slides a lot as well. It just doesn't really suit my driving style that well. So far the Polo's kind of the best to suit my driving style. So the time for the Ford Fiesta was a 40.04 seconds. So now we move on to the Seat Ibiza Rallycross. Now I noticed with this that, again, this is a car that drives really rather well. It's pretty planted. It does kind of like to slide quite a bit, but if you want a bit of a challenge, then maybe go for this one. Now all of the cars have 600 horsepower and are turbocharged. Now this one is turbocharged along with everything else, but it has the least horsepower with 570 horsepower, but everything else has 600 horsepower. So yeah, it's kind of the lowest horsepower car here, but still drove very, very well. So the Seat completely destroyed the current leader's time, getting a 39.2, so that's pretty much 0.8 seconds quicker than the current leader, the Citroen. So let's move on to the last car. So the final car is the Mini Countryman Rallycross. Now I think this is the biggest car here, and it kind of handles similar to the Focus RS. Now I must mention, I don't think I've actually mentioned this, that I am driving on simulation steering and not gamer steering. I just prefer, you know, simulator games and not arcade games. So this game is absolutely brilliant. I was going to do a review on it, but I kind of wanted to do this video. So yeah, but Mini, it's okay at handling, but not the best. So the Mini's best time was a 40.2 seconds, getting only 200th of a second quicker than the Ford Focus RS. So there you go. As it turns out, the least powerful car here was actually the quickest by really quite a long way. But in my opinion, the best driving car, the one that I would recommend starting out with Rallycross, is the Volkswagen Polo. It's kind of a good middle ground to start with. It drives good, it's fairly quick. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this Dirt 4 video and want to see more, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe if you aren't already to my channel. Until next video, goodbye.